It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. Now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hello, happy King Day. Happy King Day to you. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Yes, I'm dressed up like a banana with a blazer, right? Right. It's a bad hair day. Don't worry. Tomorrow's episode, we'll be back in the barber chair. My name, I guess you figured that out, right? The Geno Jones Show. So listen, I'm coming to you live on this King holiday, and I am honored to come to you a very special tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his legacy and everything that he stood for and that he represented and that he actually died for. So I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. out on the West Coast, out in Los Angeles. Subscribe, share, like, and binge watch all my back episodes because they have been fire. So check it out. So let me do my birthdays. A lot of times I may start off the show with doing celebrity birthdays. I got one special birthday. Happy heavenly birthday to the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He would have been 94 on yesterday, on Sunday. Plain and simple, Dr. King, like I said, he fought, he was beaten, he went to jail, he was assassinated, fighting for racial justice, for equal rights, for all people, specifically for African Americans to have the same equal rights and the equal treatment under law the white Americans have and have always had here in America. But part of that fight for racial justice was a fight for economic justice. And it was a fight for economic justice, not just for black people. It was a fight for economic justice for all poor and working class people, regardless of your ethnicity or race. Right before he was assassinated, he had launched the Poor People's Campaign, where he brought poor and working class black people together, along with poor and working class Hispanic, Latino, Hispanic Americans, and poor and working class, yes, white people. Dr. King was assassinated in Memphis, April 4th, 1968. He was in Memphis at the Lorraine Hotel, which is now an African American museum, where I actually worked in Memphis doing radio for nearly 10 years. He was in Memphis fighting for the sanitation workers, who the majority were black, fighting for better working conditions and actually equal pay or fair pay. So there were two sanitation workers that died like the 1st of February, way back in 1968. So it was a garbage truck and something happened, it malfunctioned, and these two workers, they were crushed inside the garbage truck. So about 1,300 of the sanitation workers went on strike. Dr. King went to Memphis to help them fight for safer working conditions, like I said, safer working conditions and better pay. But you had white sanitation workers who were also on that, who were working for the city of Memphis, who were in that department, sanitation department. So he was fighting for economic justice, yes, for black people, because still today in 2023, the average worth of a black family is a little over $13,000. The average worth of a white family is nearly $150,000. So that's almost 10 times. Still, that is the same racial wealth gap that existed when Dr. King was assassinated 5.5 decades ago in 1968. Still, today, the things that Dr. King was fighting for then, when he was murdered, assassinated in 1968, still haven't been rectified in 2023. Has there been some progress? Yes. Individually, we've had many successes. Entertainment, sports. We've had the first African American, the first black man who was elected the president of the United States. Nobody. I never thought I would see that in my lifetime. And not only was he elected once, he was re-elected. He got elected twice. But that also unleashed and untapped, and it was like a rash. It made this it's like a rash flare up, a rash of racism, and this very, very virulent, I want to say virulent level. Just horrible. And it was always there. Because people talk about, I call him Orange Hitler, Donald Trump. No, he didn't make racists more racist. That virulent racism was always there. It was there in 1968. That same virulent racism was part of the fuel that got Dr. King assassinated, along with the fact that he was fighting, he was trying to bring poor and working class people together across racial lines. And that was a threat. That was a threat to those who profit and who gain power and wealth from division, bigotry, fear, hatred, and racism. Is still, in 2023, it's still big business. Don't get it twisted. It is still big business. Millions of guns are sold because of the fear of a black planet. It was the title of a movie. The fear of black men are going to come and they're going to seduce and marry our white women, and we're going to have these biracial babies en masse. And they're going to come and take over, and they're going to take our house and take our job and kill us. No, no, no. White America, black people have never been like that. If black people wanted revenge, as opposed to just equal justice and just equal treatment under the law, if black people wanted revenge, America would have never existed as it exists now. After the Red Summer of 1919 and all the racial massacres in cities like Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Wilmington, and so many cities, you had race massacres in Chicago. Just Google it, the Red Summer of 1919. Then in 1921, you had the Tulsa Race Massacre. So black people wanted revenge. Oh my God. You haven't seen anything. Black Americans have never been about revenge. We just want to be treated fairly and really just left alone. I don't want anything that you got. I want to get my own. Hell, I got better taste than you. My swag, my drip is going to be better than yours. I don't want yours. But I don't want you to create a system that will deny me my opportunity in education, in business, in finance, in whatever chosen field that I go into, whatever my profession, whatever my gift and genius and talent is. Don't deny it, and don't deny me the economic opportunity to prosper and benefit from this system of capitalism. Don't create these artificial and not so artificial barriers like redlining, charging me more money and making it harder for me to get a loan, to buy a home, or to get insurance for a home, or to get a business loan. Even though my credit scores that you created, this whole system of credit scores, it's part of the whole Jim Crow system. It was created to make it harder for black people to get credit. So when I succeed and beat you at your own game, then don't change the rules. That's what racial justice and economic justice, because you cannot, let me just say this again, let me look in the camera, and I want you to understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. You cannot have racial justice without economic justice, because the entire system of slavery was rooted in economics, free labor. It's the whole purpose, free labor. The phrase says it all, that we bring people against their will or whatever, and we bring them to America because we don't know how to grow rice and other crops that are grown in Africa. And then we bring people over who know how to grow and how to harvest these crops. And then we make money off this labor, and we make money off the crops that they can harvest, that they can grow and harvest, and we don't pay them. This whole system, that's why it's so important that you read the 1619 Project. It's actually coming out on a documentary. But read it or listen to it, because you can get it in audiobooks. So you may like to listen to books more than you like to read them. I would encourage you to read and listen. How about that? Because reading is fundamental. But read and listen. And Dr. King was fighting for racial justice and economic justice, or economic justice and racial justice. Because you cannot, like I say, you can't have racial justice without economic justice. It doesn't exist. You just can't have it. And voting rights, which many states are still passing voter suppression laws that are making it harder for people to vote. And it affects some white people, but they're like, that's okay. We'll inconvenience a number of white people to make it harder for black people to vote because we don't want them to have any power. We don't. We've been in power. We like it that way. And we have profited from it, and we've invested in companies, our own companies, and we profit from, like I said, fear, bigotry, hatred, racism. Think of all these gun manufacturers. All these this whole MAGA cult is about the fear of, it's too many black people. It's gonna, oh my God, you got these brown people, these Mexicans, and it's really not just Mexicans, it's people coming from Central and South America. And you worry about gays and lesbians, just anybody except for us. Important working class white people, white men, y'all need to understand that wealthy white men, wealthy white people really like you less. They have more disdain for a poor white man than they do for black people or black man in general. How do I know this? Because I've been told that by white people who've been honest enough to say, listen, white people, not all, but many look at a poor white person and say, well, how come you're not benefiting from this system that was created for you to have all kind of advantages? Veterans who fought in World War II, they had things like the GI Bill. They had loans like low or no interest loans. Google the GI Bill. And virtually none of the black men that fought in World War II were able to take advantage of the GI Bill. Like very, very few. Very few. They were denied opportunity, and they fought in the same war, and they died, and they risked their lives. So there's always been affirmative action for white men and white people. Just a fact. Google it. You don't have to like it. You don't have to like the truth, but the truth is what it is. You can hate it. You can try to ignore it, be in denial, but it ain't gonna change the truth. And on today, these things we need to know. And I'm just going to close by saying this to my young brothers and sisters of all races. Because the truth is, really, there's only one race, the human race. Because if you get a DNA test, it's not going to say you're 85% white, 92% black. It'll tell you the region of the world that your ancestors are from. But it's not going to say, whiteness is not biological. It's not a DNA concept. It's not a biological concept. It is what they call it is a social construct, a social system that was created for a small handful of people to have the social, political, and economic power over the masses, the many. And they use that. It was like, okay, well, look, we really, because many people who are considered white now were considered white 200 years ago, even in this country. When the Irish first came to America, they were not considered white. They were basically considered the N-word. When the Italians got here, their ancestors first came to America, they were not considered white. They were considered the N-word. Germans, not necessarily, were always considered white when they first came to America. Eastern Europeans from Poland and the Slavic countries, used to be Yugoslavia, they weren't considered white. They weren't. It's like a club. So, okay, we'll let the Irish in now. Okay, we'll let you Italians in. A lot of these white Hispanics, y'all weren't considered white. Just saying. All right, you all were not part of the founding fathers. The white Anglo-Saxon person, the folks that sat down and wrote the Constitution. Remember, the only people who originally could vote were wealthy white male landowners. Translation, 2023, wealthy white men. Really wealthy Christian white men, but those quote-unquote founding fathers, James Madison and Thomas Jefferson, who owned slaves, and Thomas Jefferson, who was having sex with a slave when she was a teenager and got her pregnant. That's called rape. Just a fact. So, I'm not trying to be whatever you want to call it. Oh, you're radical and you're just, it is what it is. Sometimes history is ugly and it's uncomfortable, but it's history. You can deny it, but it's not going to change the facts. And the sooner that we make peace, the sooner that if you want reconciliation, you got to have truth. You got to just say, okay, you know what? This happened. I can't ignore it because people are not stupid. And no matter how many books you ban in states like Florida, how many governors like Governor Death Sentence, Governor wannabe Mini-Me Trump, DeSantis, I don't care how many books you ban. I don't care how many white nationalists that you put on school boards, which is another reason why I need my young people to step into your power. I'm going to talk about that in probably less than 30 seconds. You can't ban every book. And the real cool thing is, you ain't going to ban a cell phone. I don't need a book. I got my book. I've got volumes of encyclopedias on this little device right here through something called Google. A Google search or being searched. You can just search it. It'll come up. My young people, in closing, you've got the power. The future is yours. And the future is here, right now. Step into your power. Don't be afraid to be great. Be your full, authentic self. Be fearless. Don't let anyone intimidate you. Don't let anyone tell you that, oh, your light is shining too bright, or that your intelligence or your talent, oh, it's too loud. You should tone it down. Don't be so. No. Be your full self. Be all of it and some more. And if that intimidates somebody else, that's their problem. And you can tell them, it's a saying that I learned from my grandmother. Don't let a you problem become a me problem. If you have a problem with my greatness and my talent and my drive and who I am, just my full authentic self, if you have a problem with that, that is a you problem. And I will never, and young people, never let a you problem from somebody else that's a you become a me problem. Your problem. You keep right on moving and you keep right on being great, because that's what Dr. King wanted. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. as always, God bless each and every one of you, and especially you. I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. out on the West Coast. Thank you for joining me on this King holiday. I didn't think, let me correct that. I didn't think it was an honor. I knew it was an honor. And this is a holiday for many people, but I am honored because you had people like Dr. King, but then you had people like my grandfather, Conway Jones, and my grandmother, Jean Jones, that sacrificed and could only dream that their grandson could be in a position to step into his full authentic self and pursue his greatness and to have his own television show and to do it live on this platform or any platform 5 days a week and have a radio show to where you've been #1 in a city for nearly 2 decades. Man, I'm the hope and dreams of my ancestors. I'm the hope and dreams of Gene Jones, who I'm named after. I'm the hope and dreams of Conway Jones. And my young people, my young brothers and sisters, you are the hopes and dreams of your ancestors too. So what you owe them, outside of to honor them, and as my grandfather would always tell me, he said, Jeannie, just appreciate me and don't forget me. Appreciate and don't forget your ancestors. But to really thank them is to be your full, authentic, great self. To be the best version of you, because nobody, no damn body can beat you. Being the best version of you. Do it. And do it with a smile. And have fun with it. Like my grandfather, he was always smiling. Always happy. Be great and be happy. And have fun with it. Let your light shine. And if your light is so bright, and if that bothers somebody else's eyes, if your light is the light of joy and happiness and greatness, and a light that's going to like illuminate and lighten the world and make the world better, then you know what? For those people whose that light is too bright, tell them to go put on some sunglasses, put on some shades. That's a you problem. And remember, what did I say? Don't let a you problem become a me problem. I love you. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you so much for spending, if you're watching me live, thank you so much for spending the King holiday with me. If you're not watching me live, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day or night or whenever you're watching me to watch this episode. I ask you to do me one favor, to please share this episode with everybody, or as my man Nelly would say, everybody you know. Share this and make this episode go viral. Copy and paste the link. Screen grab about 30 seconds or 60 seconds and put it up on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Yeah, Twitter's problematic, but we're going to pimp that out. We're going to use it while it's there. We're going to use it for good. We're going to use it as a vessel. Let it be a vessel for good to change somebody's life in the affirmative, to change somebody's life, to speak life into their spirit and soul, to be the wind beneath their wings. Put it up on TikTok. Don't worry about the Chinese. Y'all want to spy on this? Spy on this, partner. Spy on this greatness, because you can't stop it. Groove Master Dre, mother, happy King Day. Thank you. I thought I saw another one of my buddies in here too. I'm just trying to check. All right. Groove Master Dre, you did a great job on Friday's show. We're just talking about the 200 greatest singers of all time. Go ahead and check out Friday's episode. My man Groove Master Dre, who's watching me live right now, who was in my chat room, he was on my panel. We had a great conversation. And I thought I saw somebody else on here. Just everybody that's watching, thank you. We'll see you the next live edition Tuesday, Wednesday. Tuesday. This holiday's throwing me off. So the next live edition is going to be tomorrow, Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Until then, as always, be peace. So very blessed. Be blessed. Pray for peace. Thanks for watching.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.